Well, howdy folks, Hellcrags here, and welcome to Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 170. And today we're going to be talking about that 50-ton mech, the Hunchback. It's been, 150 episodes ago that I did the initial Hunchback, the 4G. This is the 5M, the 5 mic. Well, it still follows the same characteristics of the 4G, but with some better technology on board. Alright, it's still a 464, so nothing's changed there. Still running around with the same old engine. Nothing's changed. It still has 13 heat sinks, but it carries around 13 doubles. So you're thinking, wow, with 13 double heat sinks, this thing must have a plethora of weapons. And you'd be wrong. It still has the, I think, 160 points of armor, which is like 9 short, so you're half a ton short, basically. Almost half a ton short of maxing that out. Hey, what's a little bit of ferrofibrous armor amongst friends that can take care of that problem for you? And then it has a, still has the AC-20, okay? So you don't want to run into this guy in a dark alley, and as it pumps out a 20 point shot block into you, and it's like, yeah, okay, you're gonna have a bad day if it hits. All right, I always called the AC-20 kind of a gambling weapon system because you got so much tonnage wrapped up into something that may not hit. If it does, it's all great. If it doesn't, well, not so much. It only carries the 1 ton of ammo, which it used to have 2 tons of ammo in the left torso. Now it only has 1. Why? I don't know. Maybe they decided, hey, let's just take half a ton of our ammunition and throw it in there and make it a only 5 shots versus the 10 and give it case. Yep. Yeah, if you can't see it, I'm shaking my head. Like, what? What are you thinking? I know it's probably life expectancy. May not get those 5 shots off before it's dead, but you never know. Now, if you're facing clans, the odds are, yeah, you're probably toast. But if you're not, meh. Still has the medium lasers in the left and right arm, and now it carries around a medium pulse laser in the head instead of the small laser. Well, yeah. Okay. What's the good and the bad right off the bat? Well, the bad thing is this thing is way over sync. It has too many heat sinks on board. It's dissipating 26 heat, and its max it can pump out, let's see, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, it's like way over heat sink. So you could have 3 tons you can play with. Yes, what can we do with this thing? Well, it has too many heat sinks. And it's carrying around, because of it, has too many heat sinks, it's carrying around like 3 extra tons in heat sinks. That could be put towards better use, like ammunition. Or in the case, yes, use one of those heat sinks, like instead of taking away ammo, give it the case out of the heat sinks and upgrade the small laser. Okay, yeah, I can understand why they went with a small pulse laser, but you know, if I had a half ton, I'd rather have a medium laser myself. But you know, they always like to, it's like, hey, you can have something that shoots really close and does a little bit more damage than the small ER small. Okay, but yeah, I'd rather have the medium laser myself. So that's the biggest things I see a problem with it. And the other big problem is they never did look at its mobility. I always like to look at the Hunchback as a city fighter, and they didn't address that problem with like jump jets. You have 3 tons wrapped up in heat sinks that could be used, like, say, like I said, give it 2 shots, you know, you have extra ammo, and then you could have 2 tons. You could throw some jump jets on board this thing, and at least give it some mobility in a city so it can jump in over at least a level 4 building, or up on a level 4 building, level 3 over, or get on a level 4. So yeah, you could done some things to make this a little bit better, but it's like, hey, in the heat of the invasion from the clans, they're just willy-nilly throwing advanced technology on mechs and just seeing what sticks and shipping it off to the potential buyers. You know, being, I think this is the House Merrick one. I think it's a House Merrick, yeah. And you know, I can sort of why they do things like this, to make you scratch your head and go, what were they thinking? So yeah, there's a few things they could do with this to make it a little bit better. Some tweaking. And personally, if I got my hands on one of these things, a 5M, 5M isn't a bad mech per se, but you know, the first thing I'm doing is I'm chopping off some of those heat sinks and doing, like I said, I'm going to make this thing at least a little more mobile and give it a little bit more time, you know, with its ammo. Because if you have the first 10 shots versus 5 shots, that's a big difference, you know. Because in 5 turns, I've had plenty of games over the years where they've gone 10, 15 turns, and something like this where you run out of ammo after the 5th turn, and all you're left with your 2 medium lasers. Yeah, you're carrying around a bunch of empty tonnage, you know. It's just kind of worthless. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's just look at a couple variants that are out there. There's I'm just going to go through, there's a bunch of them. I'm just going to skip over some of them, just talk about a few highlighted ones. There's the 4H, which is one that came out in 28-19. This one I kind of like, because what they did was they took the AC-20 and downgraded it to an AC-10. Gives a little bit more range. Yeah, you're losing 10 points of damage, but they put 2 more medium lasers. So really the firepower from 9 and closer hasn't changed, because you can still fire the AC-10 and the 2 medium lasers. So now you got 4 medium lasers and the AC-10. So actually the firepower is the same, okay? But you're at least shooting out a little bit longer. So that's one of the ones I do like, you know, and it's something that can be the basis of a change that we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. Now, then we have, which one was it? It's the 4P. Obviously, I talked about the sway back, the 4P, in the previous video. I love the sway back, the 4P. It carries around 23 heat sinks, and it has the 8 medium lasers. So this thing has some firepower that's even greater than the standard 4G with the AC-20. Yeah, you're rolling a bunch of times, but the odds are you're going to probably do more damage in the long run with the sway back than you would with the 4G with the AC-20, because if you miss with the AC-20, that's 1 die roll now to try to hit, versus, you know, you get 4 shots to 8 shots to do the same amount of damage. Okay, and you have a good chance of doing more damage in the long run. And then there was the 4SP. This one has a 2 SRM6s. Never been a fan of this one. Yeah, the damage output is a little bit more than the AC-20, but you know, and then it has 4 medium lasers, so yeah, the damage is out a little bit better too. But I'm not you know, this is more of a crit seeker than anything. So instead of having somebody knock big holes in somebody, then you got something that's knocking little holes in somebody. Okay, and let's see. We just talked about the 5M. There's another one here. Okay, we got the 5SG. Never saw full production. This one has a Gauss rifle and ECM. Okay, so that's the one where it also has stealth armor on board and a compact gyro. It seems like a logical progression to go from an AC-20 to a Gauss rifle. That makes sense to me. You got longer range, and the odds are you're going to be actually doing more damage in the long run. And let's see. Okay, we got the 6S. This one has endo steel. Uses this is a 6.9 mover. It has the XL engine on board, and its life expectancy is not that great. Carries ER medium laser in each arm, a single SRM6 in the left torso, and it has an LBX-20. So basically, this is a massive shotgun crit hunter. So this is, and it carries around 10 double heat sinks, 2 tons of ammo. The big thing about this one is it's one of those mechs that you fire last. You find your target, everybody rips armor off of it, and then you come up with this thing with the LBX-20 and shotgun them along with the SRM. So, yeah, you're going to be doing a lot of potential crits if you do hit with it. So the odds are you're going to have 12 one-point shots and then probably 3 or 4 two-point shots if you hit with both those systems. And with only 10 doubles, though, that, you know, obviously the ER medium lasers are going to pump up the heat a little bit there. Okay. And there's a 7R. Republic of the Sphere. Yeah, that's a name you haven't heard in a while. That's what rose up after the Great Jihad. It has reinforced structure, case 2. Carries an Ultra 10 arm-mounted ER medium lasers. And carries around light ferrofibrous armor and has tag and Guardian ECM. So basically it's kind of like going back to the way back, what was it, the 4H. This is basically a 4H with improved technology on board. So not bad. It was something that you probably could use to good effect. Alright, now, and then there's the 4G Hunchback with the Gauss prototype that came out in, was it 39? War of 39 with the 9th Ghost Regiment. This one has a Gauss rifle. So, a logical upgrade. If you have an AC-20, it makes sense to me if you're going to give it a Gauss rifle. You know, I can live with taking the AC-20 and giving it a Gauss rifle. And you're looking at something that could have 4 medium lasers, a Gauss rifle, a small laser, still a 4.6, 10 double heat sinks. So that's not bad. You know, you got something that shoots out a good distance, has 2 tons of ammo with it, so it can shoot for 16 turns. Great for a long-term engagement. It can sit back if it wants to, park itself, or getting close, and shoot some targets that are, you know, outside the minimum range with that Gauss rifle. To pretty good effect. So, there's that. Now, I told you to look back at the one version that was of the 4H. You know, you have the AC-10 version. I have done in the past where I take this one here, put a LBX-10 on board, 2 tons of ammo to go with it. Obviously, it already has the 2 tons, and then put ferrofibrous on board. So it's running around with, you know, 4 medium lasers, LBX-10. So that is a pretty good upgrade in my book for a mech that's still slow. You know, that, yeah, being a 4.6 is a major drawback. But if you're running around on the peripheral part of the inner sphere or on the, hanging back on the battlefield, you might be able to get away with it. especially if you're not fighting the clans. Now, if you're fighting against other Inner Sphere mechs early in its career, yeah, you can get away with it. But it's not till when you start throwing the clans in there, then it's a major problem. And you're looking at getting your lunch handed to you pretty quickly. But the Inner Sphere does have a lot of mechs. So it's one of those things where, yes, they have great, superior equipment, but time tells. You know, there's a quantity is a quality in itself. All right. Then there's the sway back version. This is one I've done with before, where you take the 4P, or obviously you got 23 heat sinks on board. Now, you can drop those heat sinks because you have 23 of them. Let's say you drop it even down to 15 double heat sinks. That leaves you 7 tons. You can put say an ERPPC on board. So now imagine a Hunchback with an ERPPC and 8 medium lasers, and put ferrofibers on, pump up its armor a little bit even more. So that is a really good one too, I've used before. All because you just changing the heat sinks from singles to doubles, and that gives you a bunch of tonnage to play with, and you can run around with in a good weapon system. Does 10 points damage, not much different than an AC-10, but you don't have to worry about ammo explosions on board because it's the sway back, doesn't carry ammo. So yeah, you can do some good work with that one. So it's like you get all the medium lasers on one torso, you just throw it on the PPC in the other torso. There you go. So that is pretty much it. That's sort of it in a nutshell. That's all the different variants of the Hunchback, and some of the things you might be able to do with some of those said mechs. Now, how would you use the Hunchback? I kind of alluded to it. It's kind of a city fighter. The big drawback, like I said, it doesn't have jump jets, so it makes it a little harder for it to displace into different portions of the battlefield. Let's say if you're in a city or a heavily wooded area, and that's its actual friend, is congested areas, limited line of sights to it. That's the thing that keeps it alive. So it can be an ambush mech, so it can hop out, unload its payload into you, and then do that for a couple turns while it tries to close, and then try to kick. And then obviously when the ammo bay goes click, click, click dry, after 5 shots with the AC-20, then obviously this thing's got 2 medium lasers and then the small laser. So you want to get in somebody's face with this thing and keep kicking away. That's basically its type of thing it can do. Now, if you get the ones that have a little bit farther ranged weapons, it kind of changes its role a little bit. Not much. I still like to use it in close. If you can get it in those type of battles. If you find yourself in an open battlefield where there's lots of open terrain, this thing's going to suffer greatly because somebody looks at it and goes, "Oh, look at there." Somebody that all they're going to do is run towards the sound of the guns and hope that they don't get noticed until they can deliver their AC-20 system. So there have been many times where he's like, "Hey, is that the guy that only has an AC-20? Yeah. Okay, take him down." And everybody puts their fire chits on it, and next thing you know, it's like a pile of smoking debris. So that's it in a nutshell. You gotta kind of shepherd it, watch where you're going, hide, don't attract too much attention with it, and hope that somebody else out there is attracting attention while you get it in close. Alright, hope you guys liked this one. Like and subscribe, share with all your friends, and thank you for all the new subscribers over the last month or so as the numbers keep going up. So thank you, everybody. Hope you guys like it, and we'll see you in the next one. Helcrex out.